Thank you and welcome back. We have 7 finalists left. And the first one, after the break, finalist number 8 is Eduardo Pascual Pouteau. He's the co-founder of Contrarian-View. He is based in Washington, but is originally from Spain. And his idea is called Sponsored Loans Program, how to mobilize private sector into global development.
So thank you, everyone. I would like to begin with some figures, some disturbing figures. On the one hand, we know that we have 800 million people on Earth that have nothing, nothing at all, no health, no education, no access to energy, people that we know that tonight will be starving. And on the other hand, we have 42 people, 42 individuals that have the same wealth that half of the world's population. Does it make sense? Of course not. We can do much better. And on top of this, we know that there are trillions of dollars parkside line. There are trillions of dollars sitting in a drawer. My question for you tonight is, are we able to mobilize this money? Are we able to put this to work? And the answer is yes, with a very simple maneuver, taking the money out of this drawer and going to another one. First of all, we need to keep in mind 2 words. One is simplicity, and the other one is win-win. If we want to make things moving forward, things happening, we need to have a simple solution that generates a win-win situation. Otherwise, the idea will not fly. What I would like to propose tonight is precisely this. It's how to mobilize the one that have the most on Earth, the billionaires, the Jeff Bezos of the world, how they could mobilize billions to the poorest at a zero cost for them. And this, I call this a win-win situation. So I'm here today because one day I have a kind of epiphany, a vision. I saw one of these signs. It's, if you see something, say something. And I thought, well, I'm seeing things. I was seeing moving parts that combined could bring out of poverty to millions of people. And I thought that I have a sense of moral duty to speak up. So I was seeing 3 things. First thing, it's the amazing potential of an institution, the World Bank. The World Bank has something unique, which is a track record of 70 years of history without 0 loss in a loan. The World Bank is always repaid. And this is a gold mine. We should capitalize on this. The second thing that I was seeing is that the billionaires of the world are willing to do more. They are looking for ideas. They don't know exactly how to do. We are here precisely for this. So they are looking for a platform, and we are here today to propose this platform. And the third thing was this. I live in the States, and there, the concept of sponsorship, it's a big thing. Everything is sponsored. So one day I was in a bench of a park, and I saw, sponsorized by Family Di Marco. And I thought, are we sponsoring everything, highways, roads, a bench of a park, and we're not sponsoring development? So I came with this idea. Think as a chest of drawers, as a dresser, within the World Bank for billionaires. So say that the World Bank will approach to Mark Zuckerberg and say, Mr. Zuckerberg, you are worth $70 billion. What about if you put a fraction of your wealth, a minimal fraction of your cash, within an account of the World Bank? And with this, you can sponsor with a guarantee a project. Zuckerberg will say, how much is this going to cost me? And the answer will be 0. What do you mean 0? 0. So let's give it a try. So there are 2 things important to remember. First one is that the money in the drawer belongs to Mr. Zuckerberg. We are looking for a win-win situation, remember. And second thing is that this money is compounded interest, and it's good for Mr. Zuckerberg. Once the money is there, World Bank will say, Mr. Zuckerberg, what's your thing? What are you passionate about? Is it, are you interested in climate change in Caribbean? Are you interested in a gender situation, in refugees in East Africa? And Zuckerberg will ask, okay, my wife, she's a doctor, a physician. What about if you have something on health? And the World Bank will ask, of course, we have hundreds of projects. We can have something for you in Vietnam. So now we go to the virtual circle. Now we go to the win-win situation. Why? Follow the money. The best assistant is follow the money. The World Bank now is able to lend more at a lower risk. Why? Because there's a one-to-one guarantee on cash. The recipient countries, Vietnam's, are receiving more money. They're very happy. And Mr. Zuckerberg has his money, generating the rates, and on top of this, he's doing the good. And there's nothing more powerful than doing the good. But our ambition is high. We want to go from one Zuckerberg to many Zuckerbergs. So how can we do this? I call this the from WWE to WWE operation. So first, the WWE is, of course, His Majesty, Mr. Warren Buffett, the largest donor ever in history, the largest philanthropist, and the other one is the World Bank. Imagine a combination, a partnership between them. If just one individual, Warren Buffett, has been able to mobilize $400 billion, what could happen with the institutions? But billionaires are just the beginning. Following billionaires are corporates, and following corporates, individuals. You and me could be doing this with social platforms aggregated in the World Bank. And imagine corporates. Now, the stock market is in all-time highs. All the big companies are repatriating in cash. Just Apple has $200 billion. Much more could be done. I'm finishing. I would like to invite you all to be optimistic, to be positive, to think that we can change the world, that we can leave our little legacy, to think that we can dream big, the sky's the limit. And remember this, the World Bank is a transformational institution. If we're able to change just a bit the World Bank, we can change the world a great deal. Thank you very much. Just in them.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, have some water, because I'm sure there are questions from the jury. You're welcome.
Eduardo, thank you so much for the graphic presentation. Just a question. Could you take us through an example of how the sponsored loans program would address a social challenge? So, if you mentioned gender inequality, for instance, and any of your billionaires would be fairly ambitious in their vision for that goal, whether it's Priscilla Chan or her contemporaries. So how do you, suggest that through a sponsored loan program, the World Bank would be able to address, gender inequality?
The point is the following. The World Bank has 160 billion portfolio of loans in all the world, in many other countries, and touching upon many, many, many things. So you should think this as a menu, where the one that have the cash, that it's either, that it's untapped, could put it to work for something that they're interested. So are you trying to address something in Kenya? Imagine that you are in Kenya, and there's a project that is sponsoring cultivation of roses there that have a gender component. Someone, a hedge fund trader, could say, I'm going to sponsor this. And it takes the time of making a wire. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Are you satisfied? Should we go to the next member of the jury, Susan?
Does that answer your question?
It doesn't answer the question. Okay.
So it's always a challenge to link a billionaire or a corporation to a particular project. And often those projects are limited in scope. So how would this sponsored loans program scale itself in a way to address the bigger global problems, those associated with climate risk and conflict, global conflict?
Solving the global challenge, in my humble opinion, you're going to need money. And you're going to need money in big scale. You are needing $4 trillion a year if you want to fix everything. So if you want to get to this scale, what is called from billions to trillions, you need to mobilize the large players. And with this system, you are able to put the big ones, align with the same goals that the World Bank or the United Nations or any other institution could have. Because this is not rocket science. This is not big financial engineering. This is simply aligning interest. Does that answer your question? Okay.
That answered the question, I hear. Okay.
Can I tell last thing?
Yes, 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Think about this. I put this example to my wife. She told me, you're a dreamer, you should be looking for a job instead of dreaming. I told her, no. There are things that can be done. And I put the example of the Nespresso coffee machine. We have been having coffee for 5 centuries the same way. And then someone said, what about if you put the coffee in a capsule, in a little machine, and you change everything? This is the Nespresso for development. And it's a very simple idea.
Okay. Thank you. Susan, did you want to come in with an additional? You're okay. We're gonna. She's okay with an espresso. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.